Hit record. All right. So again, welcome to the Alert Builder and Report Card training session today, the Meta Alert Builder and Report Cards. We're going to look at today how to build alerts, run reports for alerts, and look at the report cards, how to set up report cards and use the Meta Report Card within your district. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We do have a training test box that we'll be using. Can you see my training screen?
Yep, we can, Sally.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we are in our test database, so there is not any identifiable information. This is all scrambled data. We do want to start our training today in showing you how to access our Meta documentation specific to the Alert Builder and the report cards. On your blue navigation bar, you have your help icon. If you click on your help icon and scroll to the bottom, you'll see the Meta documentation link. There is also, just for your reference, in the Meta customizations catalog, which you can access through applications and the catalog. You'll also see a Meta documentation link here. Just, other things in PowerSchool, there's always a couple of ways to get somewhere. So we did want to point out both ways to access that documentation link. But when you click on that, it does open in a new tab, access to all of our documentation step sheets, handouts, information, guidelines for different areas within PowerSchool that we have provided as Meta members. You can select documents to download by checking the box and downloading them. Today, again, since we are talking about the Alert Builder and the report cards, you can use your filter here on the right-hand side. So as you type in alert, again, you'll see the documents filter. There's an Alert Builder and an Alert Builder reports document, and there's actually an alert spreadsheet. We use that, I believe, in IPT, just looking at different alerts and things. Similar with alerts, you can search report cards, and there are various documents available regarding the report cards, how to set some up, overview, different items on the report card that you may or may not be using, like promotion indicator. So again, all of these documents are available through our documentation link. So we want to make sure we showed you that. All right, now let's take a look at the Alert Builder. You can, again, get to the Alert Builder through your left navigation menu, District Management, Applications, and then Alert Builder right here at the top. With PowerSchool's enhanced menu, you can also type in the quick search Alert Builder, and you can access it there as well. We're in the district office right now, so we're going to go to the Alert Builder, but you can access the Alert Builder if you are in a building and not the district office. Just so you know, you can access the Alert Builder at a school level, but any alerts that you are building or pushing out, those would be district-wide. So if I was in the high school and I was working on building alerts, it would not just be high school students, it would be all of the students in the district. So that's important to note. When you're in a building, you can access it. It will push out to all students. All right, so this is the Alert Builder landing page. If you are coming to the Alert Builder landing page for your first time, when you get to this page, you will not see alerts listed here. You'll see the tabs and you'll see the headers. As you build alerts, you will see them added to your alerts tab. So these are all the different alerts that we have either built or downloaded from community, and we will show you how to do that. So these are alerts that we have that we are using in our box here for our students. So again, as you build and download alerts, you will see your list start to lengthen. On this landing page, you will see the icons associated with your alerts, as well as the name of the alert and a brief description underneath the alert to tell you what it is doing. We have a performance diagnostics column. This is mainly something that we look at when we are looking at some alerts that we, maybe some issues at some districts, and they've asked us to assist with some things. We're looking at this diagnostic information. Group, you can group your alerts, and we'll look more into detail with that when we build an alert here. But if you group your alerts, you would see them listed here, what group number you assign them to. Community, again, we'll talk about this in a minute. And then you see the 4 portals listed here: Admin, Teacher, Power Teacher Pro, and Public. So with Alert Builder, you are able to push out alerts to the various portals listed here. Within those portals, you can push those alerts out in the admin portal to student pages and your mass attendance page. In the teacher portal, you can have alerts pushed out to the student information pages, the attendance pages, and the seating chart. In Power Teacher Pro, this is very exciting. This is a very latest addition to the Alert Builder. You can now push out alerts to the student pages in Power Teacher Pro. In the teacher's gradebooks, they will be able to see on various pages like assignments and demographics information in their gradebook. They will see these alerts if you select them to be pushed out to the Power Teacher Pro. You'll also see in Power Teacher Pro alert page, and it's kind of grayed out here. You can see the lines, the column here. This is a current project for our developers. What they are working on, they are working on creating a dedicated custom page for alerts. This way, teachers, again, when they're in Power Teacher Pro in their gradebook, they would be able to select this alert page that would list the students in their courses and any associated alerts with those students. So this page is still under development. It's not available in Power Teacher Pro yet, but you can see that you do have the option to check mark this page. So that means if you check mark this page, once that page becomes available in Power Teacher Pro, automatically these alerts would be pushed out to that page because you have already selected it. So that's exciting and something to look forward to. And then the last portal listed here is your public portal, which is your parent and student portal. So again, you can make those selections on if you want these alerts to be pushed out for your parents and your students to see when they access the public portal. So again, that is the landing page, what you're seeing on the landing page. You have a search box here at the top. So if you are looking for something specific, you can start typing in and you'll see your filter results start to narrow down your search. This is helpful as hopefully you start to build alerts and use those within your district as you see fit. Again, once you do that, you'll see quite a list here on your landing page, and it's nice to be able to filter and look for something quickly if you would like. So we are going to walk through building a simple alert, but you should know that the alert builder, you can build simple, which is, we will walk through, but you can also build complex alerts as well using advanced, SQL writing. You can add any of that information into your alerts for your trigger or your pop-ups. You can do that, which is super handy, again, for what you need within your district. We're going to click Add here on our right-hand side, and this is where we start to build our alert. We see we are on a general tab of our alert where we're going to start just entering some of the general information for our alert. Today, we are going to build a part-time student alert. So maybe we want an alert for students who attend school less than 100% of the day. We want to have an alert on our student line that'll show us that information. So we give our alert a name, and then we can give it a description. So we can say students who attend less than 100% of the day. Again, this is your description, and you can type in what you need to describe your alert. You can add any community tags to your alert. We'll show you what that looks like when we get to the community tab of the alert builder. But if this was maybe an attendance alert, you could add that tag if you wanted to. We talked about grouping. Group order. This is where you can assign a group order for your alert. This doesn't mean if I select first, this does not mean that this alert that I build will be the first alert on the student line. PowerSchool core alerts will always appear first on the student line, and then all other alerts will follow. Grouping allows you to group specific alerts together if you want them on the student line. For example, we had a district who created alerts for the Ohio seals. And so they wanted all of those seals to be grouped together on the student line. So they selected a number for all of those seals so that when a student, if and when a student earned multiple seals, those were together on the student line. So that's an example of when you would group your alerts together. If you're utilizing them with other alerts and you want them, again, to be closer together on that student line. Next, you're going to select an icon for your alert, and you can click select icon. You can see we have over 900 icons available for you to select from. You can see all of them here at first. When you open the page, you can also click on the various categories listed here on tabs, or you can search within if you know you're looking for something specific. Let's look for a clock. Maybe we want to use a clock icon. You can select that, use that filter to narrow down your search and select your icon. With your icon that you select, there will be a default size on the student line. You can make that icon a little bit smaller or a little bit larger. So these options here, they are not going to be extreme changes in height of your icon, but you can adjust them a little bit, again, a little bit smaller or a little bit larger, however you would like. You can, again, select an icon from our icon library, or you can upload your own image. If you have, for example, maybe a district logo or a district image that you want to associate an alert with, you can download that alert onto your computer and then upload here using the upload option. Next, you're going to select, again, which portals do you want this alert to be pushed out to? If you want the entire portal to see this alert in all locations that it's available, you can click right on the portal name itself. And as you do that, it will automatically check both of those areas for the alert to be pushed out to. If you want a specific page of a portal, you can just, again, select just individually if you want those alerts to be pushed out. And again, with Power Teacher Pro, you can select both of those options. If you want, again, once the alert page is created and pushed out, you can automatically have that set to go out when it's available. So once you make your selections, next you have some general options. You have some options of, do you want a pop-up associated with your alert? Do you want the pop-up to include a student photo? Do you want the pop-up to include the student name? And do you want to have a go-to page? Do you want the pop-up to have an arrow that will take you to a specific page? You can click on the go-to. Notice that on our top here with our tabs, we have select admin page and it's grayed out. That appears once I click the go-to page. This go-to page, that's where, again, we're going to select what page we want to be sent to, or the user to be sent to when they click on that go-to. So once you select that, this is where you will then make the selection for that go-to page. So this is everything on our general tab. So next we're going to click our trigger. And this is where we are going to decide what is the trigger for this alert. When do we want this to appear for students on their student line? So you can see we automatically are in a simple trigger. And with a simple trigger, you're able to select your field. You can click on the all fields and search for your field that you're using as the trigger for the alert. For us, we are creating a part-time student. So we're going to look for the percent of time field. This is in Ohio, a state field, the percent of time. So we know that we want that field, and we said that we wanted the alert to be any student who attends less than 100%. So we are going to use the comparator less than 100%. So again, this is a simple trigger. And it's telling us what value, what field we're using, and what value, what comparator. If you are using a field and you want maybe cross country, if you were creating a cross country alert and you wanted to say any student who was flagged with cross country, you could do the cross country field, and then you could say is not blank. So anyone who doesn't have a value in that field, and that would be your cross country. But again, for us, for our example, we're going to do less than 100. You can see once you create your trigger here, if you open up your advanced trigger, this is where you can see the SQL that is being used for this trigger. We can see that we are looking at that field, and we are looking at if it is less than 100. So if any of your users, if you or any of your users are familiar with SQL and you want to add some advanced SQL writing in here, you can add that. We are also available to help if you have more complex alerts, triggers that you want to use. You're always welcome to reach out to us, and we would help with creating that alert.
Sally?
Yes.
Jamie said she has a quick question.
Yes.
So, whenever I'm on here, we don't have anything under the general. So does that mean we're not using the alert builder?
It means you haven't created anything.
Okay. Because I know a lot of our kids that are on IEPs, like some of them have the IEP icon, but then there's like a lot that don't. And we thought that was because there maybe is an issue from our Same Goal and PowerSchool talking to each other. But could it just simply be because we've never set one up?
With Same Goal, they add a specific section. I believe it's to the modify info page. Is that correct, Sarah? I believe it's the modify info page.
Other information.
Sorry, other info. I get those two pages confused. I apologize. On the other information page, Same Goal adds a section to that page where they make a connection with your PowerSchool, and they enter information into that section for a specific student that generates the Same Goal alert that appears on the student line.
Okay.
We do have some IEP alerts that we can show you available in the alert builder, but I believe with the Same Goal alerts, when you click on those alerts, the users are taken to the Same Goal site where they can access that documentation.
Okay. And there's definitely, we have some, they have some, but if you're using Same Goal and you're not seeing the alerts that you should be seeing, you would want to contact Same Goal.
Yeah, we've done that, but it's still not seem to be getting fixed. So to fix that, just because everybody just wants to see that little builder, I could just build one here, and if it double,
Yeah.
like it would just double then basically, right?
Or before you build anything, let's watch all of Sally's things before you build anything, because what you want might already be in the community.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you don't have to build it.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And then Jamie, you're exactly right. You know, like Sarah said, we may have something already available that you would just download to use. Once you download to use that, it would double icons on the student line. So a student would have the same goal IEP icon and then the alert that you download or build in the alert builder. They would have both of those icons. They would be there perhaps until you get things situated with same goal. So that could be, something that you utilize until, you have confirmation from same goal that the alerts are working as they need to.
Perfect. That would be wonderful.
I will say, same goal allows you to click on their IEP and open it and read it. The alert that you're making will not do that.
Yeah, I think that's been an issue because they just kind of want to be able to look, do a quick look and see that icon. But it's like some kids, they don't even know unless, they really, so that would solve my problem.
Sally, Denise said she has additional information on this one.
Okay.
So Denise, go ahead.
Hey everyone. So I had the same issue as what she was talking about. I reached out to Same Goal, and even though we had the icons in place and we had the builder, alert builder, everything correct, if your IEP is not locked in Same Goal, it will not show up as an icon on your student line. So you have to go back into the IEP and Same Goal or the ETR or whatever doc you're looking at and make sure that they are locked, because if they're still open, that icon does not show on that student.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Denise.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was painful too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we looked at our general, we looked at our trigger. So now let's go to our pop-up display. This is where we can add information. What do we want on the pop-up? We already selected the student photo. We selected the student name. But this is, again, where you can use data access tags, SQL, different information. Again, how do you want, what do you want to appear on your pop-up? Again, we're looking at a simple alert, but again, this could be more complex. We have some alerts and we'll show you where we've created tables of information and different sections within the alert. So again, depending on what alert you need, how you want it built, you can add definitely more complex items to that. For us with our part-time student, maybe we want to say, we're going to add from our students table, we're going to just use maybe first name. We already have the name, but this is just an example. So we'll say student, their first name, and then we'll say is a part-time student and attends. And this is where maybe we want to know exactly how much they attend. Do they attend 50%, 25%? What do we have in that actual field? So we're going to pull that field. Let's pull that field to actually show us what percentage that student attends. So again, on our students table, and we're going to select that field from our trigger, and we can just copy and paste it right from here. So we can go back to our trigger, and then we can just paste it right here. So we want to pull that field. We know it's percent, so let's add a percent after our field. Let's say, so student is a part-time student and attends, and this is where it's going to pull how much percent of the day. There we go. So again, this is a simple pop-up display, but again, you can make it as you need to pull whatever information you want to see on that pop-up. And last, we have our select admin page. Because we selected that go-to box, we actually want to go to a page. We can click what page we want to go to. Because we selected a state page, we can select our state pages. And you can see there are various student pages that you can select your alert to go to. I believe it's the FS page 4% of time. But again, you can see all of the various pages you select, and we'll take a look at that alert once it's built. And that go to arrow will take us to the page that we specify here. So we said we want to go to the FS state page. So we've entered all of our information on our tabs. Now we want to click validate and submit. Validate and submit. What this is doing, when you click this button, it is looking at all of your information that you've entered. Particularly, it's looking at your trigger and your pop-ups. If it detects any errors, if there are any errors, it will not allow you to submit. That is because if you were to submit an incorrect field, or maybe you had something in your SQL off a little bit, if it were incorrect, it would throw errors as it's trying to pull that alert to see if the student has that alert. And when it pulls those, and if there's errors, it could potentially cause some slowness in your environment, in your PowerSchool instance. And we don't want anyone to have a slow PowerSchool system. We know how that is. You have things that you need to do, and you need to do them in a timely manner. So, excuse me, Alert Builder will not let you submit anything if there are errors. So when you click on that, again, it's running through that validate process. And if there are no errors, your alert has been submitted. And you can scroll down on your alerts tab, and we see our alert listed here. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to show you what it would look like if you did have an error. So maybe I forgot the S on students, and I try and validate. Oh, it's still pulled up. Let's try that again. Maybe if I take % out, if I have just time. Oh, it's still letting. So
you validate on the trigger.
Let's try that. There we go. Thank you, Sarah. So if you have any incorrect trigger information, you're going to see this validation error pop up. So this is telling you something is not correct. And in this case, it's not knowing what field we're pulling here. It's an invalid character. If you run into this validation error pop-up message, you have a couple of options. You can click edit the alert. What that will do, it closes this dialog box and it takes you right back to your alert where you can make your correction. Or your other option is you can save the alert, and when you save it, it will disable the portals again, because you don't want it pushed out to those portals where it could cause any slowness. It will save the alert so you can come back to work on it later, and it's not going to cause any slowness and not pushed out to any of your portals. If you have any questions with this error, you can see right here, there is a link to our support help desk that you can click on, that you can submit a ticket to us at Meta, where we'll be able to help with your error and get your alert working. So again, that validate is going to look at your trigger. Your pop-up field, if you had errors in your pop-up, if we left it how it was, our pop-up, it would show exactly this. It wouldn't pull a field because it's not going to be able first to recognize what table or what field we pulled here. So your trigger is what your validation is looking at. So I'm going to update this so we have it correct again. Now hit validate and submit. And again, now we see it submitted and we see our alert listed here. And we can see again, all that information where we push this alert to. You'll see with the alerts that you build, you see a share button right here in the community column. So community, the alert builder community, that is all of our Meta member districts that are using alert builder, as well as any of our external districts throughout the world who have purchased the Meta customizations catalog, and they are building alerts. They can share them to the community. So the community, if we click on that, this is a collection of alerts that, again, have been built by various catalog customers. And as they build alerts, they think, hey, this might be useful in another district somewhere, so I'm going to share it to the community. So community is where you can go to take a look at alerts that have been built by other users. We, as Meta team members here on the PowerSchool team, we create alerts, and you can see that we have submitted some of those here listed on the community. Some of them we just mentioned at our last recent district leader meeting, the counselor log alert and the all medical alert. Those are two of our new alerts that we've added. But again, you can see who submitted the alert. If it's a different state, you can see different state. Here's the tags where if you created an alert and it has to do with attendance and you tagged it as attendance, again, you can see tags for different alerts. You can see if the alert, what version it's on, if it's been updated. If it has been updated, it's on a new version. There could be update information listed here. So you can see that. Mine says revert changes. That is because it is a Meta created alert. So any Meta user, any of us on the Meta team, as we come into the alert builder, our buttons are going to look different than you would look in when you're on community. But if you share an alert to the community and you update it, and then maybe you want to revert the changes you made in your update, you could revert them using that button here. I will say with the update and with the revert changes, we are in the process of redoing these buttons, so it's a little bit more clear on what you're updating and what is being changed. So you can look for more information about the update coming soon at our next meeting. But again, looking in community, you can see, looking for alerts that you think, hey, that might be useful within our district. You can, if you find an alert that you think would work within your district, you click download. And when you click download, you can see it turns to downloaded. If we go back to our alerts page, we will see that alert that we just downloaded from the community. When you download from the community, it is not automatically pushed out to any of your portals. This is where you come in and you open this alert, and you can customize this any further if you want. If you want a different icon, you can create a different icon. You want to rename it or rename the description. You can look at the trigger that's being used and make any changes, as well as the pop-up. So again, once you download an alert, you can then open it and use it as you need. This is important to note. As you see on the community, we have community members in many different states, as well as different countries. This one's California. So when you are downloading from one of those other locations, or even our districts here, maybe they're using a custom field or a state field that's not an Ohio state field. You need to be cautious of that, because when you download the alert, that is something that you're going to need to look at that field, that trigger. Again, when you're looking at that trigger, if that custom field does not exist in your PowerSchool SIS, that's when you'll see that validation error pop up. So that's just something you can use a different field that you're already using for that information. Or if you wanted, you could create a custom field similar to the one that you downloaded. We do want to point out with community, some of our alerts that were previously in the Meta Customizations catalog have moved to community. For example, the at-risk alert is here. The at-risk alert, we could download the at-risk alert that used to be in the Meta Customizations catalog. We can download it. We now have it here to use. It's important to note, if we go to the catalog, we're going to go to list all, and we're going to look at risk. So we see at risk, the alert used to be in the catalog, and we can see that the alert has been removed. Use Alert Builder Community to download the alert. However, in the catalog, you will see with this at risk, this customization adds the at-risk text box to the other info page, to the student's other info page. So if you want to use the at-risk alert, you will need to make sure you have enabled the at-risk text box. So this customization and alert, they work together. Again, the customization adds text box, and if you want the alert to be triggered off of what is in this text box, you would then go to the alert builder and download that alert. And there's a couple of them that are like that, the at-risk, the Ohio EMIS, other information. So again, just something to note with the catalog and those alerts, how they work together. So if we take a look at a student, let's take a look at what that alert looks like that we just built. So we are going to pick Brandon Adair here. And Brandon, we can see, has lots of alerts here. And we just created this part-time student alert. We hover on it, we can see it says part-time student. If we click on that, we now see we selected his photo, his name. We have our pop-up display. Brandon is a part-time student and attends 75% of the day. And we can see our go-to arrow here, and I believe we said the FS page. So if we click that go-to, it takes us to the FS page where we have the percent of time maybe that we're looking for. So that is, again, a simple alert that can be built. We mentioned some other complex alerts. One of those that we have available in the community is the English Learner Alert. You can see how there is a lot of information on this pop-up. We've added that the field that has the value designating if a student is an English learner. And then we've added a section here, a chart with their test scores. And you can see the test date, the test scores. And then there's also a legend at the bottom where you're able to display their performance diagnostics. So you can see what those test scores reflect. So again, this is a more complex alert, but the ability is in the alert builder. All medical alert, that is something that is a new addition to our community that we mentioned earlier. It's pulling all of us students' medical information from their emergency medical health page. So you can see we've added sections for this medical alert information. If a student, this will only, again, display if a student has triggered any of these fields, and it will only display what that student has.
And it's only what is on the emergency medical screen. It's not pulling yet. It's not pulling from any health pages.
Yep. Yep.
We're working on that.
Yes. Any questions on the alert builder, building an alert, the community tab? Any questions so far?
You know, and it seems like it was a long time because we talked about each step, but you can really build an alert in minutes.
In under 2 minutes, right? Sarah, I think.
Yeah, I think we timed it. Yeah. You know what your field is, you know what you want to say in your pop-up.
Yep.
It's really pretty easy.
And
But
go ahead.
I say we really do recommend, though, that you look in the community first to make sure that there's not already one built.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because then that's really easy.
Just download then, yes. All right, so now that you have alerts and you've built them, maybe now you need to see which students have a certain alert. We have added alert builder reports, so you are able to run a report based on who has an alert. You should know the more students you have selected to run through the report, it will take a little bit of time. It's similar to if you're used to running the report cards or the transcripts in mass, it builds all of those. So you're waiting just a few seconds, but it's just something to note. So if I had no students on my start page here, and I'm going to go to the Alert Builder reports, data and reporting, Meta Alert Builder reports. The enhanced menu interface, it's going to prompt me to make a selection. So I am going to, we had lots of students in our, there we go, in our 12th grade. So I'm going to pick 7th grade. We have a smaller amount of students, and then I'll hit continue. So again, if you already have a group of students on your start page and you navigate to Alert Builder reports, it is going to run through the students that you have on your start page. So you either want to make your selection of students on your start page, or if you don't have any students yet and you go to reports, it's going to prompt you to select your students. So with Alert Builder reports, we can see we selected 107 students, and maybe we want to see who has the all medical alert. You simply click the check mark box and it runs through those students and then will display the information here. You can see which alert that we've run the report for, the student name that is a hyperlink that you can click on that will open in a new tab where you can see specific student information for that alert that you just ran the report on. You can see what school the student is at. You can see their grade level and then the alert result. This is the information that is being pulled for the alert. So we can see a student's allergic to wheat. The Y, we can see that's a Y because yes, they have an EpiPen. Looks like we have some allergies to bees, a student who's a diabetic. So again, you can see all of that information listed here. If we were looking for a specific, maybe specific allergy, we can use our filter here, type in B, and it's going to filter our results. So we can see, again, narrow down what we're looking for when we're running that report. You can, with this report, you can make this group of students that you have run the report for, 21 students have an all medical alert out of the 107. I can make those 21 students my current selection by clicking on that. So that it'll take those 21 students, put them on my selection on the start page and take me to the start page. I can print this list as it is, or I can export to a CSV file. So there's some options here once you run your report based on what you need to do. You can run multiple alerts. So if I have the all medical alert and maybe I also want to see who is in band, I can click on both alerts, as many as I need, and I can see my all medical alert. And if I scroll, I can see now my band. And I have 25 on this page. I can click next to go to my next page. And again, look at all the information that I need to use that for. We downloaded from the community, we downloaded the at-risk alert, but we didn't push it out to any portals. You can build an alert or you can download an alert from the community. You can not push it out to any portals, but you have created a trigger for that alert, and you can run a report. I don't know if we have any at risk here, but you can run a report and it will yield results for any students that have information in that field. So again, the alert is not being pushed to any portals. You're not seeing it on the student line, but you can run the alert for it in Alert Builder reports. So that's helpful for those admin users. Maybe there's some sensitive information that you want an alert for, but you don't want it to be on the student line for all admin users to see. So maybe you build that alert, you're able to run that report, but that alert then is not being seen. All right, any questions about Alert Builder reports? Okay. We encourage you to have fun with Alert Builder, navigate to it, start building some alerts in your for your use within your district as you see fit. And again, if you think it's something that maybe other districts might benefit from, share that alert to the community. You'll see that share button as you build your alerts. Feel free to share that to the community. That's where a lot of, like we said, when you go to community C, somebody maybe has already created something. Typically, if one district needs something, it's pretty certain that another district might need it as well. So we're excited to see everyone share different alerts. All right.
If you see alerts that were created by us, chances are somebody in one of our districts has said, hey, I really would like to see that. Or as we're working through things where you say, wow, wouldn't it be nice if it did that? So this list is always changing. We're always adding to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, a lot of the ones we've created have been requests from districts that, again, if one district needs it, then usually multiple districts do as well. Okay. All right. Well, the next part of today's discussion is the meta report card. The meta report card, we love the meta report card. Object reports are no fun. Anyone who has used them knows that they're not super user friendly, and meta report cards is fantastic. It's dynamic. It's a dynamic report card, and it can be viewed by any school admin users in PowerSchool. Can also be made available in the PowerSchool parent portal. Let's take a look at a student. We'll pick on Brandon again here. And we're going to go to his academic records, and we're going to look at his report card. The meta report card, it is available out of the box, so to speak. So if you go to the Meta Customizations catalog and you enable the meta report card, you will then see this link, Meta Report Cards, and you can access it for your students. Again, it will be ready to go. What you would do at that point is go to the settings, and we'll show you where the settings are. And you would go through and decide, what do you want to have displayed on your report card? And maybe what do you not want to have displayed? And you can also decide if you want to have additional information, or you maybe want to reword some of the headers. Again, this can be customized based on what you need in your district. We mentioned that the report card is dynamic. What that means is you don't have to build and run report cards. The meta report card, it automatically builds and runs and displays the data as you have set up on your settings. For example, once a student is enrolled in a course, that course is going to be displayed on their report card. The grade scale that's attached to that that course will automatically display if you want it to. Standards, if you've associated, if you have standards and you've associated courses with them, and as soon as that student is enrolled in them, it will display. So it is a live report card. So there's no need to continually have to run batches of report cards or run object reports over and over. It's automatically being done. Looking at Brandon's report card here, we can see we have what we call containers. When we go to the settings, we will show you. We have, you know, your general information over here, your school and district information, and you can see, you can display a lot of information here. Your superintendent, your principal, if you have multiple principals or assistants, you can have all of that displayed. You have your student information over here on the right-hand side. Do you want to have the picture on your report cards? Do you not? Again, their name and their homeroom and attendance and GPA information, all of that here in the student information. And then we have our courses. We have our course name and teacher name, and then any additional information that we choose to display on the report card. For this specific report card, we wanted to see the absences. We wanted to see the potential and earned credit. We wanted to see the grades for each terms and the associated percentages. Again, this is all controlled through your settings, what you want to see. We have course comments here on the right-hand side. And then at the bottom, maybe we have homeroom comments that we want to include. Again, all how we have set up in our settings. When districts are using the Meta report card, we suggest that you open a student just like we have here with Brandon, and then you open another tab. And we have a tab open here, so I'm going to use this second tab. And I'm going to now, on this second tab, I'm going to navigate to our settings, our report card settings. I'm at the district level, so this is district management, academics, report card settings. And we'll look at these options. There's a few others options here in the report card section. We're going to start at our settings. So again, we are at the district office. So any edits that we make to the report card now on this settings page, this is going to be applicable to all of our buildings within the district. So as you are making edits or changes, or if you are just starting to create and use the Meta report card, you can start at the district level, make those settings for how you want the report card to look across the board, across everyone in your buildings throughout your district. And then once you finish your report card settings at the district level, you can then navigate to the specific building level, and you can then customize those settings for that specific building. Your building can override your district setting. So for example, maybe at the district office, you decide you do not want GPAs to be displayed for students everywhere in the district. Middle school or elementary, they don't need to see GPAs. Middle school, maybe you don't want them to see GPAs either. So at the district level, you make the setting that says, no, do not display GPAs. You can then go to the high school, select the setting for GPAs, and you can select yes, display GPAs, because that's an important piece for our high school students, and we want them to see that on their report card. And you can then override that district setting. So that's one example. There's, I'm sure, lots of others where at a specific building, you may or may not want to display some settings that have been selected at the district. What you can see, I was mentioning containers. So you can see we have our traditional report card and the standards report card listed here. And as I hover my mouse over the different sections, you can see those containers highlight. And those containers, as you click on those containers, you will see settings available listed below. Right now, we're in the general container. It's highlighted in that darker blue. And as we scroll down, we can see the general settings here on the report card. We have the ability to upload a logo onto the report card. You see we had a logo here on Brandon's report card. You can use a logo again for the district, but if you had specific buildings with logos, you could upload the logo while you're at the building level report card setting and upload for a specific building. You have colors. It's going to be the traditional PowerSchool blue colors, but if you want, you can use maybe your district colors. As you play with the colors, we suggest, again, why we have 2 tabs. As you make changes to the report card, it's live, it happens automatically, and you can then flip to the student and see any changes you make. This is important with colors. Sometimes colors that you use, maybe they may be very bright and overwhelming once you see it on the report card. So you can play with the colors if that's something that you want to do. Again, you see lots of settings here. As you click on the settings, each setting has a slide out here on the right-hand side. So for district and school name, as I click on that, I see that I have the option to show or do not display the district name and the school name. When I opened this, I had it both at show, and I can see right here on my student, I have the school district and then I have the school name. Again, these are going to be, once you enable the report card, you're going to see some of these settings defaulted. You come in and you make your selection, your changes and edits as you see fit. Maybe we don't want to have the district name displayed. So I click do not display. I hit submit. I see my changes have been saved. I navigate back to the student. I can either refresh my page or I can click the year tab here. Both of those options would refresh my page. As I refresh, I see that change happen lifetime. I see the district name is no longer being displayed. So again, that's another reason we suggest having 2 tabs open. As you go through your settings and you make changes, you can quickly take a look at a student report card, look at what that change looks like. If you like it, keep it. If not, you can put it right back, click on it and put it right back, and it will appear. With the general settings, again, principals, you can have as many principals as you need for your building. There's some options for the parent-student portal. Do you want the report card to be visible in the parent portal? Yes or no, show or do not display. Also, you can have certain terms removed from the current year. So the current year that you are in, you can remove certain terms. Right now, if we were in semester 2 and we didn't want to see semester 1 anymore, you could put in S1 and that would be, and then click submit, and that term would not be seen again in the parent or the student portal, that public portal. And as many terms as you list, it's a comma separated list.
That setting also is a district level setting. It's not a school setting at this time. So if you're hiding, you're in quarter 1 and you're hiding quarter 2, 3, 4, and 5, or whatever you've got final, it's for everybody in the district, not just a certain school.
Mm-hmm. And there's a display schedule setting. This is this becomes important after the end of year process. In June, when we help with rolling your school over from one school year to the next. Once your end of year process is done and the next school year begins, the report cards, if you have made them available in the parent-student portal, they will be available in June after your end of year process runs. And now that it is the new school year, if it were the 25-26 year, and you have already scheduled your students, if you have this setting to show, they would be able to log into their portals and access their report card that would show their schedule. So some districts, a lot of our districts, they do not want their students to be able to view their schedules until a specific time that they have set up. So this is something that we try to incorporate in the end of year training. And when we communicate with districts, if you do not want your students to see report cards in the summer, you can not show the report card. And then if you want them to access past years, you can just choose the current schedule to not be displayed.
And then just don't forget that when school starts, you want to go back and change that to show.
Yes, yes, definitely. Next, you have the teacher portal settings. This is asking if you can add a mass print in the teacher portal. So if you want your teachers to be able to print report cards, this option will add a link in the teacher portal where they would be able to do so.
And that's in mass. Teachers can still print an individual report card. This setting is only if you want them to print report cards for their entire class at once.
Mm-hmm. And then this last section on the general container, it's security settings. So this is telling you you have certain security accesses to the report card. You can see I'm logged in, so I have access granted to view the settings and make edits and changes. If you have any users in your district, maybe that you want to be able to view the report card, but not make changes. When they come to this page, they would be able to see that what their access is. If they want access to obtain permission to do that, they would, speak to the district leader, and then you see the information on how to give them access. I believe we had a counselor and a principal that they were able to access the report card settings, and they were trying to make changes, and it wasn't saving their changes. And that is because they did not have access to make changes. They only had view only. So we added that here so users can see what they have access to. Next, we'll click on the student info container. So that section on the upper right-hand side of our report cards. This is where, again, you are choosing what do you want to display, and what do you want that label to be displayed as? Your photo, ID, are you showing that, or do not display? Student name. How do you want the student name on the report card? I'm pretty certain lots of districts do, but where do you want that name to come from? Are you pulling that name from the demographics page, from the legal page, or we've also added custom. So if you are using a custom field for student names, you are able to enter that information and display that custom name on the report card. You can see student name labels. So all of the report card items, they have labels. You can see in light gray, that light text there, what the label says, student name. You can change that if you want. If you want it just to say name, you can change that here. Click submit. Again, flip over to your report card. Here it says student name. If we refresh, we'll see that header now say name. So again, with these labels, you're able to make them as you want to see them for your report card. With the name also, you can see how you want the name to be displayed, middle name, suffix. Again, all of these settings that you can select. Do you want it to be show or do not display? Student status, their gender, grade level, homeroom, all the student information that you would like to have displayed. There is also an option here, custom fields. That was one of the options here on our report card settings. You can access it here, or again, right here while you're on the settings. If you click on custom fields, this is where you can add additional fields, custom fields to your report card if you're wanting to show additional information that is not being displayed. Maybe we want to add the counselor. We want to see the counselor on the report card. So we can click add, and we can give our label here, counselor. And we want to add the data access tag for counselors. let's see. And I think it has an S on the end.
I think it does,
Yeah,
Shelley.
we were talking about that. So you can add, again, if it's a custom field, you would add your field. Counselors, we're going to use the data access tag. So with custom fields, you have the ability to use both if you need. And you can select an order for your custom fields. We'll show you where those are being displayed. But maybe I want my counselors to come first, and this daily attendance to go third, and this to be second. For counselors is something that may change year by year. Maybe I have a counselor this year, and next year my counselor is a different counselor. So I can click on current year. So this is going to pull this current year counselor. And so when I look at past years, I will see the past year information. If I wanted to delete custom fields, I can click the delete option here on the right-hand side. Now remember, we are at the district level, so we are making these additions, and this will be applied to everyone in the district. If there's a custom field for your elementary, you want to make sure that you select your elementary building and add that custom field. If your district office has custom fields, and you go to your elementary, you can add on to those. So if you have additional, it will still display the district ones, and then you can add additional, or again, move things around. The building can override those district settings. So this is custom fields here. This right above it, custom name, this is what we mentioned in the student name field. If you have a custom field that you are using for student name, this is where you would add that field for that custom name. You would add the field here, and then on your settings, you would select to pull from that custom field. So once you have that set up, you can click submit. It's going to add our information. We're going to go back to our settings. We added counselors. So again, let's refresh our report card. And you can get the gist of it here. It's going back and forth, seeing how you like information. So you can see we added the counselor information. We wanted it to be displayed first. You can add up to 12 custom fields. Is that correct, Sarah? 12, I believe?
12, yes.
Yep. You can add up to 12 custom fields. The custom fields will be added right here under this first line of the student information container. So again, you can add what you need to. In the student info container, you also see you have attendance and GPA sections. Again, you're selecting what attendance information you want to show or do not display, similar with your GPAs. Right now, we're at the district office. If we are at a building, we would be able to click on GPA calculations to hide or show specific GPA terms if we wanted to. So you can see the description of the setting is listed here as well to help you understand what the settings are doing. There is a promotion indicator on our report cards. If your district wants to display a message on the report card at the end of the year that says, Sarah has been promoted from grade 3 to grade 4. Congratulations. You can use promotion indicator to make that message. So the promotion label for the promotion indicator, it will say promotion, but again, like our labels, you can change that if you wanted to. And you can show with the promotion, you can show the message, the promoted message, and you can show the next school year. So it could say, Sarah has been promoted from Meta Elementary to Meta Middle School. You can show that if you want. There's additional text that you can add for that message. All students are defaulted to be promoted. If you have some students that are being retained or placed, or maybe you don't know yet what their promotion is, you can navigate to those individual students and you can update their promotion information. On the other info page of the student pages, you will see a meta report card section here. Again, all students are promoted, defaulted to be promoted. So our student is a 12th grader and we can see they're going to be promoted to grade 99. They're going to go to the graduated building. So we can see that listed here. This is where if we had any students that are being retained, maybe by a parent request or placed, or again, continuing, you can select any of these options for this specific student. If this student's being retained, you could click on this link that would take you to their scheduling settings page where you could adjust their next year grade level. In this case, if they were being retained in grade 12, we would update that to grade 12. If we don't want the promotion indicator to be displayed for a specific student, maybe this student, the decision hasn't been made yet on the promotion, you can check mark this box and save your page, and the promotion indicator will not be displayed on the report card for this student. Additionally, here, while we're on this page, there are a couple of other options for the meta report card. You can hide the current year report card for a specific student. So if there was a reason that you needed Brandon not to be able to access his report card, his current year report card, you could select this and click submit. And a message will appear in the public portal. You do not have access, contact your district. You can type a different message in here if you want a different message to be displayed. If there's a reason why they can't access their report card, you could type that in here. Again, click submit, and that message would be displayed for Brandon only. So there's a couple of
Brandon hasn't paid all his fees and he's done something else and he hasn't returned his computer. You can say you can't see his report card until he returns his computer. You could say that for that one student, or you could just make them call you.
Mm-hmm. With promotion indicator, if you are using promotion indicator, you can see we had our settings again that we can select here at the district level that we want to show it. When you navigate to the building, this is where you will select which term you want to associate that promotion indicator with. Typically, promotion indicators are only wanted to be visible at the end of the year. Here, as we're in quarter one, I don't want to say Sarah's going to grade 4 yet. We want to wait and do that at the end of the year. So we could, at the building level, go to our quarter 4 term or our year 1 term, and we can, let's take a look at what that looks like. We're going to switch to the building. We're going to go back to our report card settings. We're in student information, and you can see now we see that term where we're able to click on that, open in a new tab. This is our create final grade and reporting term. This is where we can select which term we want that promotion indicator associated with. So we see right here, meta report card promotion indicator. We can check mark this box, click submit, and then this promotion indicator on the report card, that promotion information, it will not display until 10 days before the end of the term date. So this end of term is July 31st, 2025. If we have promotion indicator checked and we save that, the promotion indicator will start to display on the report cards in the admin portal and in the public portal on 7/21/2025. Okay.
If you say you only wanted to show up 5 days before, you would still check that that box to show it here, but on your settings, you would say do not show until you're ready to like 5 days before, and then you turn it to show. It will show up then as soon as you check show. But if you know 10 days is good, you can set this all up now and then don't even have to worry about it at the end of the year.
And you can see GPA calculations when we were at the district level, that was not clickable. You can see that now. We could take a look at our GPA calculation setup and again, use it as needed to hide certain GPAs from terms if we wanted to.
So Sally, can we talk about that a little bit? If you go back to the building.
Yep.
So what that GPA screen will do for you is you're telling it which GPA you want to use for which terms. So we often get tickets that say the report card isn't calculating our GPA correctly. The report doesn't really calculate the GPA. It pulls from whatever GPA you've got set up. So for instance, if Sally clicks on add, we can say for quarter 1 or semester 1. This is again a test database. We didn't set it up. And I want to use the weighted GPA. And then for semester 2, I want to use the weighted GPA. You are telling it for each term that you've got, quarters or semesters or final, what GPA do you want it to use? And the report card will pull from where your system has calculated that. But the report card itself isn't calculating anything. And if you're not seeing GPA, it's probably because you haven't come to this screen and set it up. And remember, you can only do that at the school level.
Perfect. All right, let's go back to the district, back to our settings. And I think that was everything in the student info container we took a look at.
Let's talk a little bit about attendance here too.
Okay, yeah.
So you can do days attendance, or you can do hours attendance, or you can do both. Hours is your HB 410. And you can say which of those things. Traditionally, we're showing total hours absent and unexcused. But if you also wanted to show the excused HB 410 hours or the medical HB 410 hours, you could show those as well. But that's totally up to you and your district. What do you want to see on the report card? We find that most of our districts no longer even show days. They're only showing the hours. And you have to remember that your hours and your days are never going to match because they're calculated totally different.
Okay. Any questions so far, general or student info? Okay. Our next container, so scales. This is our grade scales. Again, are we wanting to see them? Are we not wanting to see them? With grade scales, we can show them at the top or at the bottom. We're currently not displaying them, but again, we can select to display them and where we want them. And then do we want grade scales associated to courses and scales associated to standards? Do we want those to be displayed? And then we can have certain grade scales we can hide or show them again by clicking on grade scales and opening a specific grade scale and selecting if we want it to be hidden.
So we would recommend if you are using a 1 through 100 scale, hide that because it's putting a big long list of every number that you have in that grade scale on your grade scale. But remember, if you hide it, you're hiding it for the entire district, every school. You cannot hide a grade scale by school building because PowerSchool has said that should be a district function.
Yes, so that is one of the settings where it is a district level page. So like Sarah said, if you hide a grade scale, that will be applied to the whole district and not be able to be overridden at the building level. All right, next we have our top and bottom courses. You will see there are two different containers for courses. This came from a request from a couple of different districts, I believe. They wanted to be able to display courses, certain courses in the top container, like their core courses, English, math, science. And then in the bottom courses container, they wanted to display art, music, and library. So that you now have the ability to split your courses if you want to. Additionally, some districts wanted their courses, their quarter courses listed at the top and their trimester courses listed at the bottom. You're able to do that again if you want to. All of the courses are defaulted to be displayed in your top courses container. If you want courses to be displayed in the bottom courses container, you would navigate to those individual courses and select them to be displayed in the bottom courses container. So if we go to courses, and we're just going to open that up in a new tab. And if we take a look at a course, we have a homeroom course. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. All of your courses, your setup page, your courses setup page, you will see an option, a meta report card section. This section is where you can decide the information for this specific course on your report card. We're talking about the top and bottom courses container right now. So that would be the display location. Right now you could choose, again, I'm sorry, all courses are defaulted to be shown in both containers, the top and bottom containers. The bottom container is defaulted to do not display. So again, if you want to utilize and split your courses apart, you would come to your courses, you would select your courses that you want to be displayed in the bottom, and then you would need to select which courses you want to be displayed in the top container. You can, through Data Export Manager, you can go, and we'd be happy to assist if this is something that you're looking to do within your district. Through Data Export Manager, you could look at all of your courses in the report card settings and update all of your courses to be displayed in the top courses container. That way you're doing it once en masse for all of your courses. You could then go to those courses that you want to be displayed at the bottom. You could come to them individually like we are here and then select bottom for those specific courses. Again, if that's something that you want to do within your district, we would be happy to assist with that. Just submit a ticket and we can walk through that with you. While we are on this course page, we do want to show you that there are some additional settings for your courses. We picked a homeroom course here. Maybe you want this course to be the indicator for homeroom indicator. We want to make sure that the report card knows that this is a homeroom course, because maybe the homeroom doesn't necessarily happen at the beginning of the day. Maybe it's somewhere else in the student schedule. So we want this designated as a homeroom indicator. So on the report card, if we have selected to display homeroom information, it would pull the information as needed from the homeroom courses that have been flagged as homeroom. We also have the option With homeroom, again, as our example, we don't want to see homeroom in the courses and subject grades, because homeroom is typically not a course that grades are given. So you can make sure that you're excluding that, so you don't see that listed on your student's report card. That is where you can check mark to exclude it, and from your standards as well.
So a good example of what Sally was just talking about, I don't want to see lunch. I don't want to see advisory. I don't want to see study hall. You would say, you would come here and say, exclude this from course and subject grades. So you would not see those on your report card.
Mm-hmm. And then you also see here at the bottom, the course sorting priority. So again, if you are utilizing the top and bottom courses container, you can select specific courses to be at the top of the list or the bottom of the list if you wanted. Okay.
And Sally may have said this, but how that came about was we had people who wanted core courses at the top and their specials at the bottom, separated. So that was the solution that Corey came up with.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to our settings here. So that is the explanation for the two different containers. So again, right now, all of your courses, they are being displayed in both the top and bottom courses container. All of the bottom courses containers are set to not display. So again, you can reach out to us if that's something that you do want to set up and use. But in your top courses container, again, once you click on that, you see your settings here listed that you can go through and make your selections. While we're here, you can see this little school building icon for our courses settings. If we click on this icon, this tells us settings have been overridden at, and then it'll list the building at Washington Elementary. So we can see this specific setting that we've made here for courses. We have courses being shown and future courses being shown on our report cards. And at Washington Elementary, that setting has been overridden. So that's what that icon is showing you. Again, here it's clicking on the different settings, looking at the slide out, deciding what you want to show or do not display, changing labels if you would like to. You have your course name, number, your teacher name, absences if you want to show those, potential and earned credits. And again, terms, this is where you're using final grade setup to hide certain terms, and that can be done at the building level. So you can see those options when we're at the district, we're not able to click on those. And then term fields, where are we pulling the grades from? We're pulling them from historical grades. Maybe we want to pull them from gradebook grades. Again, you're making those selections and then deciding what grade information you want to show or do not display. And then comments, your comments for your courses. Do you want to show the comments? Do you want specific term comments to be removed? Again, if we're in semester 2, maybe we don't want to see semester 1 comments. We only want to see semester 2. You could put S1 in here to remove the semester 1 comments. We would put that and then click submit. Okay.
And again, Sally's talking about the comments that are showing beside the courses.
Yes.
We're not yet talking about the bottom. These are just the comments in that section.
Yep. Course comments right here. Yep.
Yeah. It gets a little confusing sometimes. So
yes. All right, so now we're going to move, since we're talking about comments, again, there's that bottom container we talked about, and then comments. So these are the comments at the bottom, of the report card. So we have the ability, we are showing comments and where do we want those comments to come from? Do we want to show, do we want to pull all the course comments? Again, maybe we only want to see the homeroom comments at the bottom. Maybe we want the course comments with the courses. Again, we're selecting that information if we want it to be seen, and then where do we want those comments at the bottom to be pulled from. And then at the very bottom, there is a messages container. You can see on the left navigation, we also have our messages link right here. You have the ability to add some messages to your report card. If you wanted to have a header message or a footer message, we could add that information. We can click on header if we want to see it, and left, center, right justification, same with our footer. And then we click on the actual messages. This is where we can type any messages. It's been a great start to the year. You can write whatever message you want to write in here. Again, this is a district header message. You can, again, once you go to the building level, you can have a building message. Welcome to the high school. Or if you want to include maybe a footer message at the high school, October 18th, no school, parent-teacher conferences, October 12th. You could add that message as footer messages at your building level if you wanted to. You can use some HTML formatting for your messages. If you want them bold, italicized, there's different heading options. You can use all of those. Again, you're submitting your changes. Looking at our report card, we could see our header message that we just added, and right here, it's been a great start to the year. So in our settings, this is where we go to messages to set it up. And then in our settings, we can select, do we want it right there on the left? Do we want to center it? Do we want it to be on the right? We have those options here. And with that HTML formatting, you can, like I said, make it bold or italicized if you wanted it to pop out a little bit more on the report card. So you do have options to add some messages, again, district-wide and then building-wide as well. There's also in the messages container an honor roll section. If you use honor roll and you want to display that information on your report card, you can show that information if you want. And you can give it a label and a message if you want. All of that.
The message and the level pull from your honor roll setup. So whatever message you put on your honor roll, if you've got one, you're just saying show that message that's on my honor roll.
Okay, so that is our traditional report card. But as you saw, as we were clicking these options, you can see it was pulling up on our standards report card as well. So with our standards report card, let's pick a student at one of our elementary buildings that I believe has standards. We'll look at Jennifer here. So you also have the ability to use a standards report card with the Meta report card. And you can see the standards in our test box here. There are lots of standards that have been scored. And as we go down, we can see all of those. But within your settings, we'll go back and take a look at those. Again, you are selecting what you want to be displayed on your report card for your standards. We can take a look at that. On our standards here, we can, there are specific settings within our standards. If we want to indicate that a certain standard is a header, we can do that in our settings. We can gray out certain standards if they're not being scored in a certain term. You can do that through your standards. So if we look at, which was that standard? Let's look for this ask and answer questions. We search in our standards.
Which are district level. Remember, standards are at the district.
Yes. What was that? Ask and answer questions. Let's see if we can find that standard. And we're looking for that. And Jennifer, again, in our box, we have lots of standards. She was a third grader. So let's look at our third grade. Ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of a text. So maybe we want this standard to be grayed out for quarter one. It wasn't assessed in quarter one, so we want that right there to be grayed out so the parent understands maybe that it wasn't being assessed.
So I'll do
Go ahead.
and
Okay, so we open the standard and we scroll down to the standard, and this is where we see meta report card setting options for our standards. Again, this is where we can indicate if a standard is a header, or if we want a standard to be excluded from the report card, we can indicate that here by clicking the box. Underneath, we have our terms, and this is where we can gray out if we have a certain standard not being assessed in a specific term, we could gray those out as needed. And it tells you here, the term will be grayed out on the report card for the current year only. So if we submit that, I believe it is, there were two of them, so I'm just going to grade both of those so we can see that. We refresh our page, then we can see that specific standard for that term has been grayed out on our report card. So again, if you are assessing various standards for students in specific terms and you want to notate that on your report card, you can access your standards and look at that meta report card section and make those selections. Again, if you also are indicating a standard is a header.
Can we talk about that a second?
Yep,
Header indicator. The system's automatically going to assign headers based on your levels. This is for if you had a standard that based on its level, you wanted to be a header, you could click on that. But you don't have to go in and set up your headers unless you have that exception. The system should do that for you.
Okay.
And then there was also the exclude. You can exclude this standard. You want your teachers are grading it. Maybe it's a turns in permission slip standard or something, but you don't want that on your report card. You can exclude this particular standard from your report card.
Mm-hmm.
We will often get a ticket though that says my standard's not showing up. That's the first place you want to go is look at the standard. Did you exclude it?
Mm-hmm. So with your standards, again, you can click on that link to look at your standards again, like Sarah said, and if there's certain standards you want to have excluded or grayed out, that would be done through your standards. And then again, we're at the district office at the building level. You could hide specific standards for specific terms if you wanted to. And then again, we see this icon letting us know at a certain building, the settings have been overridden, the district settings. So standards, we're saying do not display standards. But we can see here, Washington Elementary, the settings have been overridden. Our student here is a Washington Elementary student. So we see her standards. Teacher name.
Sally, can you also go back to your settings a second?
Yeah.
Right there. No, settings. Yeah.
Yep.
Right now you're showing both the name and the description. You don't want to show both. Typically name is what you want to choose. So if Sally drops that down, you just want to say name. that will eliminate that second column that you were seeing on the report card. You're seeing right there, you're seeing the name and the description. Now that she's changed it, you should just see the name.
Makes it a much cleaner look. Descriptions usually are quite lengthier. If you want to, you can display them, but again, like Sarah said, most districts don't. You wouldn't want to. You would have your standard here.
Right.
Mhm.
There, your name is restricted to 120 characters. It used to be 80, now it's 120. So if you've got a description that's like, 4 paragraphs long, you're going to have to, in the name, try to get that down to 120 characters.
And then use your description if you need to
Yeah,
add more. Yep.
mostly people don't show that big, huge, long description. And then also back in settings, display columns 1 or 2. She's at the district, so at the district it's saying 1, but it's overridden to 2 columns, which makes a nicer looking standards report card. You can do 3 columns, but almost everybody we see does 2. You can also show standards without scores. Right now you're showing a standard even if it's not graded. You could change that to do not display and only show those standards that have been graded. If you've got 25 English language arts standards, but or like all those work and life skills, you've got all of those, but they've not been graded, you can hide them until there's a grade in it. And then the withdrawn standards without scores, you can say, this kid's been in a class and is withdrawn and he had standards, but there are no grades, don't show those. Or you can show them. This, again, these are all your choices.
And with standards, you can show the subject course grades if you want. Looking at our student here, we have the course, the 3rd grade English course grade being displayed. Like Sarah just said, it's your decision. Do you want to see that or not? And then with that subject course grade, is that coming from the historical grades or the grade book? Are you showing alpha, percent, grades, and percent suffix? You can choose the little percent character. Again, all of those settings as you need it to be displayed on your report card.
And if you're, so think about, this is what we call a hybrid card. So my 3rd graders are getting a course grade and they're also getting standards grades. Hybrid, you want to show the subject grades. But if I'm a school that only shows standards grades, I'm not showing any course grades, I don't record course grades, then I would say don't show the subject grade. That line goes away and I only see my standards grades. And then also think about, if you say you want your subject grade to come from historical grades, but for your 3rd graders, you're not storing grades, you're not going to see anything for those course grades. So that's when you would want to say, I want to pull this from the grade book. And then also remember, standards do not get stored. Standards are not stored grades. So that subject grades is really asking about your course grade, not your standards grades.
And then the last setting here in the standards section are comments, your standards comments. Do you want those to be shown or do not display? And again, what is the comment source? Where is it pulling? Where are you telling it to pull from? And any that you want to be removed. So we had, if you had standards comments showing, where do you want them to display and pull from?
So, and for your standards comments, those need to be, to show on the report card, they need to put their comment on the highest level standard.
In the grade book, yes.
in the grade book.
Yep.
For it to show. Like if they put it on ask and answer questions and not on language arts, it's not going to show.
Mhm. That's a good point. Yes. So the highest level standard in the teacher grade book, that is where they would put the comment if you want the standards comment to be displayed on the report card.
And if you on your standards said you're allowing them to put a comment on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if we switch to, we said Washington Elementary was where our student was at. If we switch to Washington and we go to our report card settings, and that's at the building level, school management, academics, report card. Again, we see our report card settings, and we take a look at that standards container. We see the icon, the exclamation point icon. We can click on that, and that's where we see we had overridden settings that the district office has set up. So that's what the icon looks from a building level. Within all of these containers and all of the settings, we have added, this is fairly new as well, a search option here, which is very handy as you are looking for, as you are looking for a setting, a report card setting, and you're not sure maybe what container it's in. Comments is a good one. Comments, if we start typing, we can see all of our settings that have to do with comments. We can see those listed here. General settings, colors, adjust the colors of the report card. What does that have to do with comments? Well, if we click that open, we can see where standards comments, here we have an option for color option for those comments. So that is where it's pulling anything that we're typing in that search. It's pulling either from the label of the setting, comments, or the description here, comments, or it's built into that slide out, comments. So the search filter is very handy as you are looking for items on your report card to adjust the settings. With our report cards, I'm going to let's go back to the district office and let's look at Brandon Adair again. Oh, it's on there. You can see that you have past years. So we are current year 24-25. We see Brandon's information, but the meta report card has your previous years as well. So if your data is in PowerSchool and you have that information recorded, it's going to have the report card for you to access in the admin portal and in the public portal as well. So we can go back to the 21-22 year. We can see the information for Brandon in that 21-22 year. You'll notice when we added counselor, we added that custom field and we said that that was a current year only. We see that the counselor is not added to this report, this past year report card. So again, you can click on your various years to view the information as needed.
Had that old one been a standards report card, it would show you the standards report card as he received it in whatever year, 16, 17, they had a standards report card. As Sally said, if the information is in PowerSchool.
It is pulling information from PowerSchool to display. It's not calculating anything like Sarah said earlier, it's pulling. So if you have the data in there, it's going to pull for the report card. On our individual student page, you can print the report card. This is an online report card, but if you wanted to print it, you could. You can print an individual student, or you can print en masse. Again, the more students you have selected, you will have to wait just a few more seconds for those report cards to generate. So I'm just going to do a few here, but if you wanted to print en masse, data and reporting, meta reports, mass print report cards. And you will have some options here. Do you want to sort the students that you're printing? Do you want to sort them by homeroom or by student name? And do you want duplex printing, 1 page front and back, 2 pages front and back, or no duplex? You can make those selections. You can click generate, and then you'll see the 3 student report cards that you've selected, and then you can print as needed for those students. Any questions on the report cards? Anything we've gone over with report cards that you have questions about?
We know it's a lot of information, but the report cards are so flexible and we give you all the control. So you don't have to call us up and say, oh, I need somebody to add a standard, or I need, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens real time.
We want you to, we want you to be able to decide what you want to be displayed on your report cards, how you want it to look. So the settings are really going through each of those, making adjustments year to year. If your district changes some things year to year, you can use the settings to do so. But again, we are always here to help with the Meta report card. If you have any questions, submit a ticket to us. We will help answer your questions or schedule a time to meet with you. If you're not using the Meta report card yet, we would love to, sit with you on a Zoom call and help get those set up, with you, how you want them to look. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop our share screen here, and I will stop the recording.